the best, you must beat the best. The best anglers in the world put their skills to the test this week on Cross Lake in Shreveport, Louisiana for the FLW Tour Championship.
This is where you just come to let it all hang out and just try to do your best.
No matter win, lose, or draw, you got to be proud of yourself just to be here.
Head-to-head, angler against angler, working through a bracket producing today's 12 finalists.
If you're going to say you're the best, you've got to fish against the best.
The goal is to get in the top two where you're fishing for the big money today, but to a fisherman, just to fish tomorrow is important.
$260,000 goes to today's champion, who will walk away not only with the largest paycheck of his life, but he'll forever be known as the 2002 FLW Tour Champion. This is the 2002 Walmart FLW Tour Championship. The best anglers in the world are gathered right here. And this is an amazing championship. It's a brand new format. First time in the history of pro bass fishing, head-to-head. Filling out brackets just like March Madness, and it has certainly made for some exciting matchups this week.
It has been very exciting all week long. We have seen true head-to-head competition, and I tell you, legends in the sport facing each other down.
As an example, Rick Clunn and Larry Nixon, what a showdown, man.
That was history-setting day right there. And again, either way, you'd had a great champion. So far, Rick Clunn edged out. He'll be in there today.
We'll have some nice fish weighed in today, we hear, so the crowd's got something great in store.
That's right. We had some challenging conditions. Our anglers met those challenges, and when we come right back, we'll begin to see how this tournament unfolded and how we got to where we are. Somebody's going to hold up a $260,000 check. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shreveport, Louisiana. The best anglers in the world have been competing all week on Cross Lake. This is the 2002 Walmart FLW Tour Championship, and this championship is what all of the professional anglers hope to achieve during the course of a season by qualifying just to be able to compete in this event. However, in 2001, last year, the event was not held because of the tragic events which unfolded on 9/11.
And Carlton, that event was never rescheduled, and of course, a lot of the same anglers who were in last year's championship qualified for this year's event. So they were on the shores of Cross Lake, and this year's tournament started on 9/11, and it started with a solemn ceremony.
We're going to start out this morning with a moment of silence in remembrance of those who lost their lives just a year ago today and their families.
Well, you know, I always remember it because I was at the other championship, and it's, you know, it's sad because of everything that happened at 9/11.
And, you know, I can say honestly, most of the time when you fish, you try to block that out, but that was one day where I couldn't block nothing out. I mean, the nation was on my mind the whole day, and hoping that we were still safe and no one tried to damage our country again. But it was most definitely a memorable moment.
And the home of the brave.
That was the beautiful voice of Elise Latier of Shreveport, and many anglers said later on that day that moment stayed with them the rest of the day. Well, they were soon fishing 48 of the FLW's best, competing for huge prize money, and again, those first two rounds in head-to-head matchups, so the first 2 days critical. Here's how things unfolded on Cross Lake on days 1 and 2.
Day 1.
The cream of the FLW crop, the season's 48 top-ranked anglers fanned out across Shreveport's Cross Lake, only to all end up in the same place, or so it seemed on this small 8,600-acre body of water. It was perhaps fitting that so many anglers could see each other among the cypress trees. For the first time, a bracket format would decide the Tour Championship. So in each of the 3 rounds, anglers were fishing only against one competitor. But everyone had to contend with Louisiana's slot regulation, and this drove the anglers crazy. Bass between 14 and 17 inches had to be thrown back.
You know, when you wind up getting a bite, then it's a 2.5 pounder, a fish that would normally make you happy as all get out, but you got to turn it loose. So it's as mentally tough a tournament as I've ever fished in my life.
But Powers was catching the right kind of fish, almost 12 pounds by day's end. Unfortunately for him, so was his opponent, Alton Jones, with just over 12 pounds. Only one could advance past the first round.
Want me to help you? I'm waiting. 2 hands. 2 hands. 2 hands, buddy. 2 hands. There we go.
The Dion Hibden family and one of many light moments at day one's weigh-in. On stage, MC Charlie Evans had fun with competitors who happened to be on the same sponsor team. Yamaha pros Takahiro Omori and Dean Rojas. Fuji's Joel Richardson and Wes Thomas. And Kellogg's Clark Winlet and Alvin Shaw.
And Clark has got 4 pounds, 6 ounces, only 5 ounces separating our 2 Kellogg's Pro anglers.
Day one's best stringer by far belonged to the only Louisiana angler entered, Oak Ridge's Greg Hackney. Nearly 16 pounds, open a huge lead over Kim Stricker.
Day 2.
Thursday morning, day 2, talking with Mike Worm. And Mike, usually 2 pounds, 6 ounces wouldn't stand you too good, but in this tournament, you got a real great shot.
Yeah, really. I called my wife yesterday afternoon and told her what I caught. You know, she goes, "Oh no," and I said, "Well, hey, it's not all bad. You know, my opponent only has 1 ounce more, so we're in this ball game."
Worm was 1 ounce behind Fuji pro Randy Blockett.
Mike could go out and catch 10 pounds today, and I could have 9 and think I'm in and not make it. So at this point, you know, I'm really not even focusing on that part of the competition. It's just going to go out and try to catch 5 fish.
On day 2, Worm was doing the catching, over 12 pounds worth, including one he thought he might lose to the slot. But on closer inspection and a second opinion from his co-angler, turned out to be a keeper. Worm had the day's best stringer and knocked Blockett out. That Powers-Jones matchup did turn out to be close and a heartbreaker. Only 5 anglers beat Powers 15 pounds, but one of them was Jones at 16.9. Cross Lake didn't let many anglers have back-to-back good days. Larry Nixon only managed 5.14, but he advanced to set up a showdown with another Hall of Famer, Rick Clunn.
Tomorrow's going to be fun fishing against Rick. You know, he's a great bass fisherman, and for me and him to be paired up together, it's going to have to be, you know, one of the first, really, to be honest with you. We've never went head-to-head in any tournament that I can ever remember.
Other matchups of note as the field was cut in half. Greg Hackney and Brent Chapman, who had the first and third best weights in the first round. Michigan anglers Kevin Van Dam and Kevin Vida. And 2 guys who roomed together on the road, Alvin Shaw and Tracy Adams. That gets us through the first round and takes us from 48 to 24 anglers. In Friday's second round, those 24 went head-to-head again. It looks like this, 48 to 24, and we'll stop at 12 next. Pitted in 6 head-to-head matchups with the top 2 fishing for the trophy and a cash prize of more than $250,000. Over on the co-angler side, the title went to Keith Pace of Monticello, Arkansas. $25,000 for first place and $5,000 more from Castrol for wearing the right shirt. Up next on FLW Outdoors, an amazing sight on day 3.
Welcome back to Shreveport, Louisiana, everybody. This is the 2002 Walmart FLW Tour Championship. The best anglers in the world have competed here this week, and they had to face some challenging conditions. They faced a smaller lake, and they also faced what we call the slot limit. Explain a little bit about this slot limit that we referred to in the day 1 and day 2 recap.
Well, the Department of Fish and Wildlife here in Louisiana wants to take real good care of the resource here on Cross Lake, so they've established a 14 to 17-inch protective slot where a fish can't be kept between that. That's where the fish are most fertile in their lifespan. So we can catch them between 12 and 14. And over 17, anything caught between 14 and 17 had to be released back. It certainly had an impact on this event.
And it set up some heartbreaking moments when an angler catches a 2.5, 3-pound fish, could fall within that slot, and he's got to put him back.
But it was the same for all 48 competitors.
That's right. Well, let's talk a little bit about now, as we have advanced now to round 2 in our recap. The second round was pretty tough as we went from 24 to 12 anglers. Let's take a look at day 3 here on Cross Lake.
Day 3.
If you're going to say you're the best, you've got to fish against the best.
I'm just going to go out and do the best I can do today and hope that's enough to knock Rick out.
I've been going for broke every day, and that's what I'm going to do today. It's about 2.5 hours after the launch, and the fishing has been tough here on day 3. And one of the key reasons is the lack of wind. It has really shut things down. A lot of the top anglers that have made this semifinal round are having to adjust, including Chevy pro Kevin Van Dam.
This hasn't been a very good day. Sometimes you can get a break early and things will go your way, but it's one of those days I had a hard time making casts. I'm not hitting where I want to go, and I caught a fish in between the slot, and then I lost one just under, so it just hasn't been a good start yet, but it can all turn around in one cast.
The Michigan native would catch his first fish later. He'd catch several, but the slot monster struck. Most were between 14 and 17 inches long and had to be returned to the lake. Van Dam lost by just over 2 pounds to another Kevin, also from Michigan, Kevin Vida.
Oak Ridge, Louisiana's Greg Hackney, the only Louisiana angler in the tournament. He had a great first day, 15 pounds, 13 ounces, and we found Greg here on the third day. Greg, so far, what has worked or not worked for you today?
I'm just doing some different stuff that I haven't been doing the last 2 days to try to figure out how to get an early bite. And really the main thing I've done this morning different is I've moved shallower and I'm fishing a lot faster, moving my bait a lot faster, I should say that. I'm more looking for a reaction strike. Most everybody, tough conditions, everybody really slows down, but sometimes that's not right. You need to speed up and make them bite.
It's a small lake, Greg. Is the lake starting to feel the pressure now?
Yeah, it's nice this morning. There's nobody here. It's been just about any time during a tournament I could look around and see 10 other competitors. I feel like I've seen most of the field sometime during the last 2 days.
It's just less than half an hour from the launch time, and we're not 500 yards from the launch site right now. 3 anglers have chosen this spot of the lake. Fuji pro Wes Thomas, Bernie Schultz is also here, as well as Pat Fisher, who's throwing topwater baits. His co-angler, Alex Orman, already has a 17-inch fish in the boat.
What these fish are doing back here, they're schooling on little minnows on the edge of this grass, and you got to bring it in front of them as fast as you can, and it's a reaction bite. They're just attacking it. I have confidence in the popper and this little buzz bait here. Bernie's strictly throwing a buzz bait, I believe. I've been catching bigger fish on a popper. My partner just caught one 17 inches this morning on a popper, so there's a bunch of them back here.
The appropriately named Fisher caught a few. He won his matchup against Alton Jones, but missed fishing in the championship bracket by less than a pound. The top 2 anglers on Cross Lake this week truly earned their way into the championship bracket. Alabama's Gerald Swindle and Oklahoma's John Sappington. The duo caught nearly 50 pounds between them in the challenging Cross Lake waters. One of these 2 will win the $260,000 first place prize. Now, we can't complete a look at the semifinal round without one of the strangest sights in tournament fishing.
2 pounds, 9 ounces to move forward. 2-9 will have you in the final round or better.
I don't believe what happened.
I won't believe?
No, this Put them both in there.
All right, I'm going to find out. Wow.
If I could have found one that hungry, he wouldn't have had a chance.
A fish inside a fish, they both counted, and Rick Clunn advanced. When we come back, we will recap the exciting events from day 4, the final round here on Cross Lake for the FLW Tour Championship. Welcome back to Shreveport, Louisiana, everybody. It is just about time to meet our 12 finalists, those who survived this tournament so far and to fish for the big money. Now, Charlie, let's explain a little bit about this format. In the head-to-head matchup, things are a little bit different.
They certainly are for this, our final round. We accumulated weight through all 3 previous days, total those up. Everybody that survived the head-to-head competition was reseeded, so that the 2 heaviest weights are seeded number 1 now and number 2. Those 2 will be the ones that'll go head-to-head for the $260,000 first place prize.
All right, and we've got matchups throughout for 3rd place, 5th place, and so on down. We started with a full field of 48 anglers. Then after the first round, we were down to 12. First we were down to 24. Now we're down to 12, and our 12 finalists made what we call the Poland Cut. In our first matchup, the championship bracket, one of these two anglers will win $260,000. Will it be Wyandotte, Oklahoma's John Sappington? Or from Hayden, Alabama, Gerald Swindle? That's your championship bracket. In our next matchup, from Shawnee, Kansas, Brent Chapman. He's facing Pat Fisher from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Our next matchup pits Castaic, California's Aaron Martins. And he's facing one of the legends in the sport from Stover, Missouri, Dion Hibden. Our next matchup pits two veterans from Gainesville, Florida, Bernie Schultz. And an angler who is no stranger to championship fishing from Ava, Missouri, Rick Klun. Our next matchup from Emory, Texas, Takahiro Amori. He will be facing Clare, Michigan's Kevin Vida. And our final matchup hits Hanover, Indiana's Wes Thomas. He will be facing State Road, North Carolina's Alvin Shaw. Ladies and gentlemen, here are your 12 finalists for the 2002 Walmart FLW Tour Championship.
The first pairing pitted Kellogg's Pro Alvin Shaw against Fuji Pro Wes Thomas. Shaw defeated fellow Kellogg's Pro Clark Wenleth in the first round. He needed only a 14-ounce fish to get past Tracy Adams, who zeroed in the second round. When Wes Thomas revealed he was only carrying bottles of water to the scales, once again, one small fish was good enough for Shaw to pick up another win.
That was a good one. I was flipping, and I made one bad pitch today all day long. It's over a limb, and he's hung up on the limb back in there.
The only time you pitched over a limb, you caught one.
Yeah.
Should have pitched over several more limbs here.
Well, I did that the rest of the day, but it didn't work.
It didn't work the rest of the day, but you've got him on, and you need this fish.
I need him bad.
The 9th and 10th place pairing featured a couple of upset artists. Takahiro Omori began the tournament as the 46th seed. He beat 3 seed Dean Rojas in the first round, while Michigan's Kevin Vida upset 2 seed Kevin Van Dam in the semifinals. In Saturday's final round, Takahiro beat Vida by 1.5 pounds for 9th place.
You back in the swamp?
Yeah, I fish around the cypress tree.
Around cypress trees, and again, getting a lot of bites within the slot, or most of them legal keepers?
No, that's the only 2 bites I had. One short, this is the guy who was the keeper.
That's the one keeper right there, though, that won you the position over Kevin Vida.
The next matchup featured one of bass fishing's biggest stars, Hall of Famer Rick Klun, against a formidable challenger in Bernie Schultz. And with the beauty of Cross Lake as the backdrop, Schultz landed 3 keepers to Klun's 2 and won their showdown by almost 2 pounds.
That one will make it. These fish are keyed in on little shad, no matter where I go. Whatever the cover is, docks, grass, or cypress trees, I seem to trigger a bite with a little spinnerbait. The blades are about the size of the shad they're feeding on. And they eat it. They eat it aggressively. It's just fooling them one time. That's all it takes.
What made the difference, Bernie, when you decided to throw the buzzbait versus the spinnerbait?
Well, if I saw some activity on the surface, bait fish running or some fish smacking on the bait fish, I'd throw a buzzbait a little bit. And when that slowed down, I'd go back to the spinnerbait.
So you're using the buzzbait for the more aggressive fish, the spinnerbait to entice those that really weren't quite ready to fire yet?
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on this grass bed I was fishing every day, and I just basically had to stay in there. Staying power is what caught the fish.
Again, your color on your buzzbait and your spinnerbait?
White with silver.
White and silver because of the clear skies and clear water?
Well, because of the shad primarily. I was trying to match the color of the bait fish.
In the fall of the year, that's the primary feeding shad.
Yeah, I learned that from that guy.
Dion Hibden and Aaron Martins matched up for the 5th and 6th place pairings. Dion cruised past 2 hot anglers, Keith Williams and Mike Worm, to earn a slot in Saturday's final. Martins knocked off Rob Kilby and Bill Chapman by catching an average of 10 pounds per round. But Martins managed only 1 fish in the final round. Hibden took 5th place and earned $25,500.
I caught him today on a little old Timber Tiger crankbait. Both the fish I weighed in, I caught on that today. I've been catching a few on a bacon rind. I got fortunate and caught a big one early in the tournament, and that's probably hurt me throughout the week because it got me to fishing for to be short. And then I just had a heck of a time getting any more of them big bites. But I caught a couple of big ones through the week.
2 young anglers squared off for the 3rd and 4th place matchup. Pat Fisher advanced from the toughest bracket by beating Stanley Mitchell and Alton Jones, while Brent Chapman came through the 2nd toughest bracket, getting past Fuji Pro Wesley Strader and tournament leader Greg Hackney. Chapman edged Fisher with nearly 7 pounds of fish and picked up a $34,500 payday.
Whoa, it's a good one, too. Stay on. Man, he's got some power. Oh. Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Looky there. That's the way to start out the day. Awesome. Look at that. Oh, man. That's why you always use a trailer hook right there. I don't care if you're fishing the thickest cover that you can ever imagine in a tournament, you always throw a trailer hook because that's a perfect reason.
I had a great practice, and I figured if I could catch 1 fish over a day, I'd have a really good shot. And I fell a little bit short for that final top 2 deals, but I had a great tournament. I only missed 1 bite the entire week, never lost a fish. And when you go out and you can execute that well and not lose any fish, you can't have any complaints.
Fisher's 4th place earned him $29 grand and was his 3rd top 10 finish.
Bernie Schultz and I, we hammered them pretty good this week. And I didn't have confidence in going back there and catching them this morning. Everything changed on me, and I got confused, started running around and looking for 1 big bite, and never got it.
When FLW Outdoors returns, the exciting championship matchup. We'll go on the water and see how Gerald Swindle and John Sappington are handling the pressure of fishing for $260,000.
Oh, yeah. That's 1.
It's about 30 minutes after the launch on one of the potentially biggest paydays of Gerald Swindle's career. He's already got 1 in the boat. He caught 1 just under the slot on a small spinnerbait. It was a tip that he got from one of his co-anglers earlier in the tournament.
That's been a key for me every day to catch those perfect underfish. What we're calling unders, the ones that just barely measure right under 14. It's most definitely been a valuable factor because it catches those that weigh a little more than the other guys. So I try to throw it a couple hours every morning. Not saying you can't catch a big one on it. Had a few big bites, but it's most definitely a couple of ways, a way to get a couple of strikes every morning. So it's a key without a doubt.
Is the blade configuration, was that hard to come up with as far as the right combination on this water?
No, sir. You just need a good non-boater. I was actually flipping the 2nd day of the tournament. My non-boater picked it out and caught 2 in a row. So I got down. Did a little rigging on me, some stuff, and a little different when he was throwing, and kind of tuned it up a little better, and then started throwing it and to kind of mix it up a little bit every day, but still depending on flipping it a good bit.
So did you relied on that combination yesterday too?
Yeah, the double Colorado, small, like a 3 and a 4 double Colorado, silver and gold, small scale skirt. Don't get the skirt too wide, because if you do, these fish seem to want smaller profile baits. That's why you see me flipping like just a straight zoom centipede, stuff that's real slimline. These fish seem to react to that quite well, so the spinnerbait skirt has to be thinned down, get a real small profile.
Confidence-wise, what does it do for you to have 1 in the boat already?
Means John's got to catch 1. Could I be leading at this time? It's good. It's good to get a bite early because,
It just kind of relaxes you and gets you in that better fishing mode. And I think we're going to bear down and get us a couple more here pretty quick. I caught one here yesterday. He wouldn't help me. I missed one here the first day. A few fish living on these trees, but not many. I don't believe you got to worry about catching no giant. Watch me catch a 6-pounder, look like a fool. I love being a fool. There he is. Come on, B17. My God, B17. He ain't. I can tell you. I can tell you before I get down. Here, he ain't. He is. He is. Sappington, you got to catch one more. That's it, baby. Huh? Yes. Come on. I just got out of my mouth. You don't have to worry about me catching no big one. Oh, God, it's a big one. What an idiot. I'm an idiot, and I love myself. Thank you. Yes. Come on, Sappington, bring it, son.
Was that on the spinnerbait again?
Yeah, that's the same bait. The spinnerbait has the ability to catch a giant. I mean, I got a lot of confidence in catching a big one. I like it when it catches big ones. I want it to catch more big ones.
There's always an energy boost after you catch a big fish like that. Does that give you more confidence here?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I haven't based a lot of my strategy on these trees. But however, I do fishing when I come by them for instances just like that. And I have caught a few fish off of them. So it's not going to alter me fishing the docks. It's just going to make me throw at them a little more thorough when I come through. But these are perfect. They got a big shade canopy. They got the good grass around them. We call it a ring of donut grass, just like a big donut around the bottom of the tree.
So are you trying to bump that spinnerbait off the base of the tree or pull it through the grass?
You're really fishing the grass as much as you are the tree, that little ring around it. You want to just kind of right through the one side of the grass. There's a little opening right around the tree. Run right around that part and then out the other side. The fish are generally in the grass.
We're getting ready to go mess with John Sappington's mine. You got any message for him?
Yeah, make sure that sea doer that I hired, I paid $5 grand for him. You make sure he's up there in that tree, he's doing his job. I expect a lot of commotion. He's supposed to be mooning John at every opportunity he gets, yelling out things to him, you know, chanting, all kind of stuff, the Braves chop, whatever I told him, just break his concentration. So if he's not doing that, y'all come back and get me.
You can get your money back.
Get my money back.
By 8 a.m., Gerald Swindle had 2 keepers in the live well. When we come back, we'll check on John Sappington, who enjoyed early success fishing through a forest of cypress trees.
John Sappington started the championship day on the opposite side of Cross Lake from Swindle, deep in the cypress trees. It's just after 7 o'clock, and he's not catching fish yet.
There's one.
That changed at 7:09 as he targeted trees with crankbaits he'd modified late the night before.
Thank you, Lord, for small favors. Look at him. He's hooked on the front hook. That means he wanted it. There's one. That was a good one, too. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Lord, please stay on. Thank you, Lord. Good gosh, look at that. Oh, my gosh. Broke my hook off. Look at that bass. Oh, man. Thank you, Lord. Oh, that was a gift from God. Look at that. Broke my hook off my crankbait. Oh, man. That's the one. That's the one. God. That's the biggest fish I've seen yet. I had my dad go buy me that net last night. If he hadn't got me that net.
Sappington was on a roll. Barely 10 minutes later.
There's one. All right, buddy, stay on there and be big enough. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.
Sappington had fished a jig earlier in the week, but on the final day, all his catches came on a crankbait.
Oh, there's one. Oh my gosh. Look, it was just barely hooked. That may be an under. That's a good under, too. Almost 14 inches.
It's about 25 minutes after we talked to Gerald Swindle. We found John Sappington also fishing for $260,000. John, so far, how's it gone this morning?
Lord's blessed me this morning. I got 4 fish already. I've got 2 over, two of the best fish I've caught all day. I've got 1 good under and 1 just 12-incher, so, I mean...
This is your 4th day of competition. Is this the best start you've had?
Yes, it is. So,
John, there are a million cypress trees out here. How do you decide which one holds the fish?
Well, you don't really know. These fish are moving around in here, and there's a lot of fish in this area, and they're just moving around. Kind of this group of cypress trees here is, if you look at it in the big scheme of things, if you look at it in the small scheme of things, it looks like just another group of cypress trees. But within a half-mile radius, it's a giant point. And the water's been falling, and the fish have moved out to this big point. And what they're on is they're on these little points within the big points. And I just don't think anybody really keyed in on that.
This small lake's gotten all kinds of fishing pressure, yet you seem to have solved that problem this morning. How'd you do it?
I think I'm just making the fish bite. They really don't want to bite. You know, just because there's been so many people fishing in here, they've seen so many lures over the past week.
And speaking of pressure, how have you responded internally so far to fishing for $260,000?
Well, at 8:16, I've got 4 fish in the live well. A little bit of pressure is off.
What John didn't know was that he'd already caught his last fish, and that Swindle would boat 3 more for a limit.
That may just be number 5.
They were headed for a nail-biting weigh-in, where mere ounces would decide the FLW Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get much better than what we are about to witness here in the Walmart FLW Tour Championship for 2002. We are down to 2 anglers. One of our 2 anglers, be it John Sappington or Gerald Swindle, will win the first place prize and $260,000. But before we go to the weigh-in, one very excited and nervous family is in the audience with Taylor Carr.
I can't keep them quiet, Carlton. It's Glenn and Janice Sappington, and I think your family's pretty excited for your son, John.
We're just elated that he's here and he's had such a good tournament. It's just been a great experience for both of us.
Janice has had an eye on John on stage. What has he been trying to do up there, Janice?
Well, he keeps trying to get Gerald's attention. I don't know what it is. It's going back and forth, but they're just laughing at each other.
No, the good thing about this is, you know, today I went out and fished for $260,000 against one person. Normally, when you make the top 10 or top 20, you're fishing against several other guys. This is just one person.
You're back in the swamp like most everybody else.
Yeah, I was in a bunch of cypress trees, and I got one little area. I've pretty much had it to myself. Nobody's really keyed in on the same area I've been in.
Oh, yeah. Nice fish there. That one over?
Yeah, that's an over.
All right, and what was your favorite bait here?
Crankbait.
Out there with a crankbait, fished it all event long.
No, the first day I flipped. You know what happened? Did you see what happened there? I was trolling along, and I hit another stump, and it stopped the boat. And I was like, well, somebody from up above's telling me to make a few casts right here. Oh, there's one. Oh my gosh. After this morning, my nerves have been killing me. I've been in every cypress tree there is. I'll cast up in one tree and pull it out, and it'll go in a tree behind me. It's been a nerve-wracking day.
And again, one more question while we're watching you land another fish there. We won't tell whether they're keepers or not. But how has it been like sitting up here now for almost an hour?
Yeah, well, we've sat in the back there, and nobody will tell us what we have. So I mean, everybody says it's close, and I know it's close. So it's I mean, it's nerve-wracking. I'm ready to get this show on the road. Let's interview him and bring fish up there.
Gerald can see his family right over here in the audience as well. Taylor Carr is with them. Taylor?
What's going through Gerald's mind right now?
Well, I think he just wished it was over with. He's been there before, but he always gets nervous. And I felt good for him when he left home. As we refer to it, he was kind of in tune. And I think maybe he's over the butterflies and ready to get it over with.
He's one of the funniest guys on the tour. I wonder if he's got a good joke to crack right now.
I'm sure he's always got something to say, something funny to somebody somewhere. I don't know where he gets that either.
Let's find out. Back on stage to Carlton.
Gerald, is the humor tempered by the nerves?
I don't know what it is. There's nothing funny about two guys and $260,000. I've hunted all day for something funny to come out of this. It's just not there. And you know what the bad part is y'all say, oh, you're just fishing against one guy. Yeah, I'm fishing against the only darn guy in the tournament catching them. That's the way you got to look at it. That's why he's fishing and we're up here against each other. It'd be different if he caught like one a day, but that goes through your mind. John's got him figured out too, and you know, it's been an interesting time out there fishing. I had a little deal going. I'm not going to lie to the fishing fans about the baits I was flipping. I was fishing a lot of finesse baits, flipping them on 25-pound line. I'm sponsored by Zoom Baits, but I was flipping a Cinco. Probably going to lose my job, but that's what I was doing. I'm not going to steer you guys wrong. I caught a lot of fish on a spinnerbait. The whole key was knowing which docks to look for. I think there's about 480 docks on the lake, and I average about 481 a day.
Let's take a look at that video real quick while you're talking about those docks. We saw you earlier this morning with some early success.
Yeah, now you're going to catch me lying, because if you show the right clip, you're going to catch me off a tree. Uh-oh, I've caught one. Good God, I'm just as surprised as you are. Woohoo! Hey. Oh, yeah, that's a big one, ain't it? John, take a good look at that. That's the smallest one I got. Hey, John. Hey, John. Watch this, John. This one ain't moving.
A big one, son.
Now I'm nervous, but don't tell nobody. I wear a diaper. It's all right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah!
Now I'm fixing to get fired up, so you probably ought to cut the tape off. The next words that come out probably not going to be good.
John put his head in his hands over there when he saw the size of that fish.
John's a great competitor, and he's one heck of an angler. And you guys are making it look like me and John were really whacking him. I kind of like this. Guys, this is spread out over about 8 hours, so that just looks like we're on them.
It's the magic of TV, Gerald.
It's wonderful right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our championship matchup. Battling for the win and $260,000, one of the most entertaining personalities on the tour. Gerald Swindle, one of only two to catch at least 10 pounds in the semifinals. The other, John Sappington, who led all anglers with nearly 25.5 pounds this week. For the big money and the honor of FLW Tour champion Gerald Swindle and John Sappington.
All right. With $260,000 at stake, Gerald Swindle will start air weighing with his first fish that weighs
under zero.
15 ounces. 15 ounces will get him started.
Okay, we're going to go one fish at a time, folks. Think of this like a round. So here is John Sappington's first fish.
Well, I got one smaller than that.
Since he's got one smaller, he does have one smaller than that, but it is a legal keeper and weighs in at 13 ounces. 13 for his first one. Gerald's in the lead right now by 2 ounces.
I know you guys set this up, and Erwin Jacobs is out there laughing because he wanted a shootout. Brother, you got one.
All right, here we go. Fish number 2. This fish weighs in at 1 pound, 5 ounces, 1.5. And that'll give him a total of 2 pounds and 4 ounces for his 2 fish.
Here comes John Sappington's second fish now. He trails by 1 pound, 7 ounce at this point.
All right, there's his second one. This fish weighs 1 pound, 7 ounces, 1.7. 2 pound, 4 ounces. We have an exact tie after 2 fish. Exact tie.
Y'all want it, you got it. It's going to be close.
All right, here we go. Fish number 3 for Gerald Swindle. 5's the limit. This fish weighs 1 pound, 2 ounces. 1, 2.
And that will give him the lead. 3 pounds, 6 ounces total for Gerald Swindle. He's weighed in 3. Here comes John Sappington's third fish.
John Sappington for his third fish. And now we're going to change. We'll switch things around. I'm glad you weren't looking at that one, Gerald. This fish weighs in 3 pounds, 5 ounces, 3-5, putting John in the lead.
John Sappington now with 5 pounds, 9 ounces. He holds a 2 pound to 3 ounce lead. Each angler has weighed in 3 fish. There's number 4.
Here's fish number 4. Back to the interesting part again. This fish weighs 3 pounds, 2 ounces, 3-2.
Gerald Swindle back out in the lead by 15 ounces. John Sappington coming up next with his 4th fish. He trails by 15 ounces.
Here comes fish number 4. Wow. Stay close and watch the weight here. This fish weighs in at 4 pounds, 3 ounces, 4-3. Gives it a total of 9-12.
And so the difference now,
3 pounds, 4 ounces. Gerald needs one at least 3-4. To be his limit fish, he needs at least 3-4.
This is going to be close.
Shaking his head just a little bit. This one weighs 2 pounds, 15 ounces, 215. We have a champion. Man, that was close. 9 pounds by 5 ounces. By 5 ounces, 9 pounds, 12 ounces for 4 fish against his 9 pounds, 7 ounces for 5. It was indeed a slugfest out there today.
Oh, that's unreal. I have to thank the Lord. I've had an unbelievable day. I started out and I caught 4 fish early. My first fish of the day was that big fish. My second fish was my next big one, and I thought this is really going to happen. Caught 2 more keepers, and then I didn't catch another fish all day.
What time did you catch your last keeper?
Probably 8 o'clock this morning. I've been dying since 8 o'clock this morning. Like I said, I've been in every tree. It's unreal.
I'm disappointed, but I didn't do nothing wrong, guys. I fished as clean as you can fish on Cross Lake, and I know I got them figured out because I could catch 5 every day with the exception of 1, and I lost a couple that day. It just wasn't my time to win. I did everything I could today. I had a limit by 9 o'clock and started trying to increase things by fishing bigger fish. The whole key to this tournament was fishing shallow. The biggest fish I caught each day, I would actually see them. I'd flip over there and see the water muddy up. They'd be so shallow they couldn't swim. And that was the main thing I had figured out, and I just stayed at it. But the cards didn't fall right this time. I'm proud for John. I'll be back, and we'll try to do it again. But they wanted a shootout, and that's about as close as it's going to get. It's amazing how the 1 and 2 guys, only 2 guys have caught something. That's what's really bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, you worked your way through a very talented bracket, and Gerald Swindle finishes 2nd place in the 2002 FLW Tour Championship. That's a great way to end your season on the FLW Tour.
It really is, but it also fuels the flame in me as a competitor. You can bet whatever you want to bet. I'm going to go home and I'm going to work harder. I'm going to train harder, and I'm going to be back to try it again because I believe in my heart I'm a champion and I can do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gerald Swindle.
John Sappington.
Yeah, if you're going to win one, this is the one to win. I've been close. I've had a real good year this year, and I've been close a few other times. And, at some point, you wonder, when are you ever going to win one? When's it all going to come together?
It all came together nicely and profitably for Wyandotte, Oklahoma's John Sappington, who earned $260,000 as the 2002 FLW Tour Champion.